You can live off-grid almost anywhere in America. Technically, somewhere between 180,000 and 750,000 households in the US are already doing it depending on how generous you are, with the definition of off-grid, which is one of those numbers that sounds impressive right until you realize how many people tried and didn't make it past the permit stage. Because technically is the word that ruins more dreams than bad weather ever could. Technically, you can buy land in the desert for the price of a used jet ski. Technically, you can put solar panels on a cabin. Technically, rain falls from the sky for free. And then the county sends you a letter saying your toilet is illegal. And suddenly, you're not a free person living on your own land. You're a person who owns a piece of land and a problem. The real off-grid map of America isn't mountains or forests or some guy chopping wood in slow motion. The real map looks like this: zoning office, building department, health department, septic approval, water rights, and one person in a county office who says, yeah, in theory you can, just not here. And the weird part is, this isn't a fringe lifestyle anymore. The off-grid housing market was worth about $2.4 billion in 2023. It's projected to nearly double by 2032. More people are buying land without understanding what they just signed up for. And the difference between freedom and expensive mistake has never mattered more. So today, we're not ranking states by vibes. We're ranking them by the boring stuff that decides whether you can actually live free, or just own a very expensive piece of land where you're legally allowed to stand and regret things. First, the myth. Off-grid living is not illegal anywhere in the United States. No federal law forces you to connect to the grid. No nationwide ban on rainwater harvesting. No official position on composting toilets. At the federal level, it's hands-off. But the moment you drop to the state level, then the county, then the actual parcel, freedom turns into conditions. And sometimes those conditions were designed by someone who really enjoys conditions. There's a simple rule almost everyone ignores. Before you buy land, you make 3 calls: zoning office, building department, health department. If you skip those calls, you didn't buy land. You bought a surprise. Now, land prices. If your research is from 2018, throw it out. Rural land went up 2 to 5 times between 2020 and 2026. In 2025, average U.S. farmland hit $4,350 per acre. Cropland averaged $5,830. Pasture sat around $1,920. That $500 an acre everyone keeps quoting? It didn't disappear. It evolved into comments under old YouTube videos. Let's start with the states that look perfect until they don't. Colorado, the one rule trap. Colorado looks like off-grid heaven. Mountains, clean air, dramatic sunsets, people who seem suspiciously well-adjusted. It practically whispers, build a cabin, become mysterious. And then you learn about the water. Colorado allows rainwater harvesting, 2 barrels, 110 gallons total. That's about 416 liters, which sounds reasonable until you try to run a house, a garden, basic hygiene, and something resembling normal life on it. Colorado also operates under prior appropriation water law, meaning someone else may have legally claimed your water before you were born. So yes, the views are incredible. But water independence in Colorado isn't a lifestyle choice. It's a math problem the state already solved for you. The answer is no. California death by 1,000 permits. California is not impossible. People do live off-grid there. Desert parcels, mountain regions, places where the state suddenly stops acting like Los Angeles and starts acting like Mars with property tax. But California doesn't stop being California. It just gets quieter about it. Building code, electrical code, plumbing code, fire code, energy code, mechanical code. 6 layers, minimum. In some areas, if a sewer line exists within 200 feet, you're legally required to connect, even if you plan to be fully independent. Rural land still runs $5,000 to $15,000 per acre. So yes, you can live off-grid in California. But it's not an escape. It's a project with permits, timelines, and an ongoing relationship with people who approve things. Florida freedom, pending HOA approval. Florida looks easy. Sun, rain, long growing season, and then reality shows up. Over 45% of homes are part of HOA communities, which can restrict solar panels, rain barrels, livestock, sheds, and sometimes even vegetable gardens. Then add hurricanes, flooding zones, humidity, mold, and insurance that prices itself accordingly. You might be spiritually ready to live free. Your HOA is not emotionally ready to see a chicken. New Jersey and Rhode Island, no room for the dream. New Jersey farmland averaged $16,600 per acre in 2025. Rhode Island hit $22,500, the highest in the country. That's not off-grid pricing. That's I bought 3 acres and now I need a finance committee pricing. Dense, regulated, expensive, and very committed to not letting you quietly disappear into the woods. You can live sustainably there, but disappearing? The woods will report you first. Now here's where most people get it wrong. They think the hardest states are the ones with the most obvious rules. But some states are hard because they look easy until one detail quietly ruins the entire plan, which is exactly how you end up in New Mexico. New Mexico, the off-grid capital. New Mexico farmland averaged $725 per acre in 2025, lowest in the country. That number alone explains why everyone keeps looking here. But New Mexico isn't just cheap land, it's proof. Michael Reynolds started building earthships outside Taos in the early 1970s. Homes made from tires, cans, and glass bottles, running entirely on solar and collected rainwater. Passive heating. No utility bills. Today, there are over 100 earthships in the Taos area, an entire community on hundreds of acres, fully off-grid. Not theoretical, not a YouTube channel, actual houses, actual people, actually working. So cheap land, strong solar, real off-grid culture. What's the catch? Water. Always water. New Mexico is dry, and it follows prior appropriation law. Rainwater is encouraged, but rain is not guaranteed. Plan carefully. New Mexico is one of the best off-grid states in the country. Don't plan, it becomes a very scenic place to reconsider your decisions. Tennessee, the practical winner. Tennessee doesn't look dramatic, which is exactly why it works. Parts of the state get over 50 inches of rainfall per year. Growing season can stretch past 200 days. No state income tax. Many rural counties have minimal building restrictions. Water falls. Things grow. Land behaves like land. That changes everything. Because in some states, your entire setup is built around compensating for what's missing. In Tennessee, you're building on top of what's already there. The downside is the usual southeast package humidity, bugs, storms. But those are manageable problems. They don't require redesigning your entire life just to function. Missouri, the quiet sweet spot. Missouri doesn't market itself as an off-grid destination. The people looking for it find it anyway. The Ozarks are the story. Missouri doesn't enforce a single statewide building code the way stricter states do. Regulation happens locally, which creates flexibility and confusion, which means you call the county, then call again. But in return, you often get fewer structural barriers than almost anywhere else in the central U.S. Pasture land averaged $3,360 per acre in 2025. Not cheap in the way people imagine from old forum posts, but accessible. And the land cooperates decent rainfall, usable soil, agriculture potential. Missouri isn't extreme in any one direction, which makes it stable. And stability matters more than people admit when they're planning off-grid life, because you're not building for one good season, you're building for years. Missouri lets you do that. Arizona, the solar dream. Arizona is where expectations and reality tend to collide fast. Cheap land, endless sun, open space. You look at listings and think you found a loophole. And in some ways, you have. Solar here is exceptional. Rainwater harvesting is legal. Cochise County even has a formal opt-out permit. No plan review, no inspections, no certificate of occupancy. Build what you want. That's not a workaround. That's a county that wrote the opt-out directly into the permit system. But as of 2026, drought conditions have affected over 60% of the contiguous U.S., and the Southwest is one of the hardest hit regions. So power is solved. Water is the full-time job. Arizona works beautifully for people who understand desert systems, catchment, storage, hauling, redundancy. If your plan is I'll figure it out when I get there, Arizona will figure you out first. Alaska, real freedom, real consequences. Alaska is off-grid at maximum difficulty. Vast land, low population, limited code enforcement in many areas, rainwater legal, composting toilets common. On paper, total freedom. In reality, Alaska replaces regulatory difficulty with logistical difficulty. Transport is harder. Winters are operationally demanding. Solar swings dramatically by season. When something breaks, the nearest solution might not be nearby. This is not a place you casually test an idea. This is a place where independence means doing everything yourself because sometimes there's no one else. Alaska will absolutely let you live free. It just wants to know you meant it. The part everyone skips. Cheap land is almost never random. When you see listings at $500, $800, sometimes less, your first thought shouldn't be, "I found a deal." It should be, "What's missing?" Maybe it's water. Maybe it's road access. Maybe it's septic approval. Maybe it floods twice a year. Maybe the zoning quietly says you can't live there full time. Or maybe it's perfect. But you don't assume. You prove it. Because the people who fail at off-grid living don't fail because they chose the wrong state. They fail because they optimized for price instead of function, and then spent 3 years fixing everything that made the land cheap in the first place. Hauling water, rebuilding roads, fighting permits, installing systems that were never meant to work there. And suddenly the cheap property became the most expensive decision they'd ever made. The actual ranking. Worst for off-grid. Rhode Island, New Jersey expensive, dense, no room. California possible, but you're negotiating with 6 departments. Florida workable until the HOA, the hurricane, and the insurance arrive simultaneously. Colorado beautiful, and the state already answered the water question for you. Best for off-grid. New Mexico cheapest land, strongest solar, real culture. Solve water first. Tennessee rainfall, growing season, fewer barriers. The most functional east of the Mississippi. Missouri balance, land, water, agriculture, flexibility. Do your local research. Arizona solar independence is solved. Water independence is your full-time job. Alaska, pure freedom. But Alaska expects you to handle everything that comes with it. If you want the most realistic starting point, Tennessee or Missouri. Not the most dramatic, not the most cinematic, but the most doable. Water is there. Things grow. Systems work together instead of against each other. And that matters more than scenery, because here's the thing nobody says clearly enough. Off-grid living isn't about escaping systems. It's about replacing one system with another one you control. You still deal with water. You still deal with power. You still deal with waste. You just stop outsourcing those things. Every state has a catch. Colorado is water. California is permits. Florida is weather and meetings about the weather. New Mexico is drought. Alaska is winter looking at your confidence and laughing. The goal isn't to find the perfect state. It's to choose the catch you can live with. Picture it. You're standing outside on the Taos Mesa. The sky is enormous. The air smells like desert and nothing else. Your house is made from old tires and costs less than most people's cars. Your utility bill is zero. And somewhere in the distance, an architect in his 70s is explaining to a camera crew why garbage is actually a building material. That's the version that works. Not because it's perfect. Because someone made 3 phone calls before they bought the land. And that somehow is the least romantic sentence in this entire video. But it's the one that actually matters.